Hey guys, this week I'll be going over everything we know regarding the highly anticipated spin-off of the Legend of Zelda series, Hyrule Warriors. Also, please note that this video was made before the Nintendo Direct that is going to be delivered on Monday. I will do a brief analysis video regarding that once that new piece of information, whatever it might be, comes to light. Moving on, this video will be split into several sections. In section 1 we'll be discussing the development cycle. Section 2 will revolve around the gameplay and story. Section 3 will be all about characters, playable or not, and the last section will be a summary. Dealing with the first section regarding the development cycle, we can infer that the game took around 1 to 2 years to develop. The game was first revealed on December 18th, 2013. As some of you probably already know, is that the game is a collaboration between Tecmo Koei and Nintendo. However, the concept of the game was given by Team Ninja lead designer Yosuke Hayashi. It was during these talks with Hayashi and Tecmo Koei executives that led to the creation of the spin-off based on the Dynasty Warriors formula. Both Eiji Aonuma and Shigeru Miyamoto expressed strong confidence in Tecmo Koei's ability to develop the game. Eiji Aonuma in particular exerted a strong approval of Hyrule Warriors since he wanted the Zelda series as a whole to be perceived in a different light. However, ever since the inception of the first trailer in December of 2013, no other trailers nor any new information about the title was released for about 5 months. It was during this time that the game was hit with a lot of speculation, rumors regarding whether or not it was canon to the Zelda timeline, or whether or not the game was just a gimmicky spin-off such as Link's crossbow training. However, all rumors were put to rest. In the May of 2014, screenshots of the game were revealed. It was at this time that many fans, myself included, were pleasantly surprised on the amount of depth the developers were going to create the game. Moving on, about a month later, further footage of the game was revealed in E3 2014. It was then that the game was shown as not necessarily a spin-off game, but rather a homage to the Legend of Zelda series as a whole. The game Hyrule Warriors is set to be released in Japan on August 14th, and an international release is set in September. Now that we have all the background information, let's move on to the more intriguing aspects of the game, the gameplay. The game of course follows the general game mechanics of past Dynasty Warriors games. One of the more notable actions of a traditional Dynasty Warriors is a Musou attack. This particular mechanic does return in its own iteration in Hyrule Warriors. These special attacks can be triggered in different varieties. One way is to fill up the power-up gauge as seen here. Once filled up, you can unleash a special. Another way is to fill up the magic gauge to unleash a more classical form of Musou and become invulnerable for a short period of time. And lastly, the other way that I know of is to reduce an enemy's weak spot gauge to 0. Once this is done, you can unleash another special. Each character can use a weapon and an item or secondary weapon in the game. These items can range from potions, bombs, boomerang, or the power-up bow. The player can find new items via chests along with heart containers. It is unknown how many weapons are available to each character, but we do know these basic mechanics. Also, dealing closely with heart containers, their function will pretty much be the same found in prior Zelda titles. However, there is a set limit in how many heart containers or pieces one character may have. So in short, I believe there will be enough heart containers in the game to max out each playable character. Also, there is another feature in the game as well. The game will incorporate a badge shop, item shop, and a junk shop. Badges tweak certain aspects regarding how a character is set up stat-wise, in addition with customizing stats of a weapon. The item shop is used primarily to buy potions and things of that sort. In the junk shop, you can switch attributes to customize how a weapon performs. Weapon drops from enemies will also be available along with getting weapons from a weapon bag. In addition, the Skolatas will also return. There are 100 in total. What kind of unlockables you obtain upon collecting them is unknown at the moment, however it will have something to do with weapon and character usage. Co-op multiplayer is available up to 2 players, but cooperative play online is not supported, which is slightly disappointing to me. Now, I would like to briefly explain the plot of Hyrule Warriors. Note that the events in Hyrule Warriors aren't exactly canon in the Zelda series. The plot is as follows. A sorceress is tasked to safeguard the Triforce. This sorceress is known as Sia. However, Sia becomes infatuated with Link and goes on a rampage because Link does not reciprocate her feelings. Her jealousy causes her to raise entire armies against Hyrule and cause rifts within the Zelda timeline. Sia, along with her main subordinates Valga and Wizaro, have unleashed pandemonium in the timeline, which accounts for Zelda characters from different times to commingle. Lana, whom knows Sia and is a part of the same sorcery order, is trying to stop her from causing more damage, and it is up to Link and company along with his fairy proxy to stop her. Now, let's move on to the third section dealing with characters. Up to this point on the 3rd of August, there has only been 10 playable characters that have been revealed thus far, which includes Link, Zelda, Lana, Impa, Sheik, Darunia, Ruto, Midna, Agatha, and Fi. There is bound to be more playable characters, however there is a question on whether or not the enemies in the game will also be playable. As of the moment, it is not confirmed whether or not that's a valid option, but I can't really imagine someone like the Imprisoned to be playable. However, characters such as Valga, Sia, and Girahim might. Moving on, a positive that I have seen in character trailers is that each character plays very differently towards each other. Whether you want to dish out well-rounded attacks with Link, use a crowd control method using Lana, or the ballet-inspired charging ways of Fi, there is much to look forward to. Speaking more in depth about these characters, it is confirmed that both Link and Zelda will receive costume skins. Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, and Ocarina of Time skins have been confirmed. There is no word at the moment if other characters will also have skins, but my guess is yes. Moving on, let's talk about each character and their weapons. Link is able to use the Hylian Sword, the Ball and Chain, along with the Power Gloves and the Fire Rod. I am guessing he will also be able to use the Master Sword, but by and large, each weapon plays very different from each other. For example, the Fire Rod seems to be best used in medium to long range for crowd control, while the Ball and Chain is best used for aggressive play styles. Now let's discuss Zelda. She can use the Rapier in conjunction with her bow and light arrows. Her combat is much more precise and directional, as you have noticed. Zelda can also make use of the Wind Waker baton that uses weather-based attacks. Moving on to Lana, so far she can use two weapons known as the Book of Sorcery and the Deku Staff. Her usage of the Book of Sorcery is mainly used for crowd control, as seen with bulldozing waves of enemies using blocks. With the Deku Staff, her attacks are vegetation based. She can grow roots and the Deku Tree himself to unleash massive damage. Now let's talk about my favorite playable character so far, Impa. So far, she is noted to be using two weapons, which is the Giant Blade and the Naginata. Impa and Sheik are probably the most aggressive characters so far that have been revealed. With the Giant Blade, she deals out acrobatic attacks that reinforces her sword swings. Her speed is also something to be reckoned. In regards to her usage with the Naginata, she becomes an extremely aggressive crowd control character. Now that we're talking about Sheikah characters, let's discuss a fan favorite, Sheik. Her attacks are by far the quickest we have seen based on the current roster. So far, she has only been revealed with only one weapon, which is the harp. One aspect I really enjoyed from the weapon is that Sheik can play songs found in Ocarina of Time, which is a fan bonus. Anyway, she doesn't use the harp solely. She can also make use of her knives in a ninja fashion while using her harp to bolster her abilities. Needless to say, she is a fan favorite and a most welcome addition to the roster. Describing the Goron Patriarch and the Fire Sage Darunia is like trying to describe the M1A1 Abrams tank. In other words, Darunia is the tank character. The weapon he uses revealed thus far is the Megaton Hammer, which deals out directional damage towards a cluster of enemies. He can also deal out fire-based attacks along with using his massive strength to unleash a volley of damage. In addition, he can also make use of his rolling form to deal more swift and quick attacks. Moving on to another Ocarina of Time sage, we move to the Zora Princess, or the Water Sage Ruto. Her moveset with the weapon the Zora Scale is very comparable to the character Fi, and being that her attack method is both graceful and uses some sort of a dancing basis. Her moveset with the Zora Scale, however, is more aggressive. She can shoot out fish silhouettes made out of water as missiles, in addition with swimming inside enemy ranks. Ruto is by far one of the more agile characters. Suffice to say, I am curious on what other weapons she might utilize. Now let's talk about the Twilight Princess Midna. Based on the weapon known as Shackle, her attacks are very magic based. She conjures up Twilight Wolves and utilizes her hair for primary combat. Speaking of which, I can very much imagine her to be playable in her normal form. Personally, I am extremely curious to see how that plays out. All in all, Midna does seem to be a most intriguing character. Now let's talk about the most unorthodox character in the current roster, Agatha the Insect Princess. Her weapon, the Parasol, can be used to both attack and daze enemies. Agatha can also stun enemies for a brief time. She can also ride on top giant insects into battle. In addition, with using giant flying insects to unleash a torrent of wind to knock enemies away. Lastly, she can grow butterfly wings to blow enemies away as well. I am surprised she got to be a playable character, however she does spark a necessary comic relief. And finally, we talk about the Goddess Sword herself, Fi. Fi, with the exception of Ruto, seems to play vastly differently than other characters. With the weapon known as the Goddess Blade, she easily maneuvers around enemies while unleashing a ballet-inspired attack set. She can also transform into the Goddess Blade to dish out damage as well. Her attacks are very wave-based. For example, here she uses the goddess crest as a battering ram as she bursts forth. Personally, I am very curious to see what other weapons Fi may also be able to use. Now that we have discussed all 3 sections, let's wrap things up in a summary. Hyrule Warriors started out with a lot of speculation, with some disappointed that only a Lily spin-off was revealed. However, this is not the case. Based on these trailers, Hyrule Warriors is a love letter to Zelda fans. Zelda characters wrapped up in a Dynasty Warriors formula really seems like a genuinely good time. As a Zelda fan since I was a child, this is a must-buy for me. Hyrule Warriors is set to be released in America on September 26th and the 19th for Europe. A pre-order bonus was announced, but no new solid information about this has been revealed. Hopefully it will include a Triforce clock, but we can only hope. Now that is my Hyrule Warriors coverage video. Since the game is going to be released in the next few days, I can't imagine loads of new information will be revealed rather soon. So I will compile Zelda's marketing strategies in the past, present, and what I believe it will entail in the future in Episode 6. Episode 6 will be released next Monday on the 11th of August. Special thanks goes to Carter Jeffers, Choza Diane Emissary, Lincoln Long 7862, and Lowe's Jam for contributing to this week's episode. If you have any information pertaining to anything Zelda related, comment below with the source and I'll feature your name in next week's episode. Again, episode 6 will arrive next Monday. Also, I would like to make an announcement. Our new podcast series, The All Night Cast, will be featuring guests from other YouTube channels. Our latest guest for this Wednesday is set to be HMK. The episode featuring him will be released this Wednesday. However, you can see last Wednesday's episode featuring Francis from PlayerEssence.com here. Anyways, please like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. I hope you're having a great week. Till then, this is the video of the day.
Following fat people.
Would you stop that? Please! Stop!
Back when I was rising up, the suckers used to play, acting like they all that and that they knew the way to Ganon's castle, level 9. Link had the power, I had the mind. I held the magic sword way up high. I knew I could win, I didn't have to try. The Ness advantage was on my side. I'd take evil for a ride. I'd smoke the Tactites like they was hooch, cause soon I'd know I'd have Zelda's cooch. I walked to meet the motherfucking Ganon. He disappeared like a ball from a cannon. I raised my voice and I shout out loud, I got the Triforce and I am proud. I finally hit him with the silver arrow, and you know I leave the rock. Even though the road to good is narrow, Zelda's on my jock. Cause my balls is big to be this brave. Princess Zelda is the one I saved. Now I'm playing with power. The 1980s will never go sour.